Hello, once again, my dear tamers. Here we are, once again, in another video. Not that is something that I do regularly, but yeah, here we are again. So, first of all, if you are one of those that believes that the Japanese meta has nothing to do with the English one, just close this video. There is nothing for you here. But if you believe at some degree that what happens in one affects the other, then stay for a little longer. The title isn't clickbait at all. I mean it. BT12 may be a set to just skip. For the Japanese meta, this set only lasted little more than a month, adding the release of the Digimon starter deck right at the beginning. To get some context, when BT12 was released, the last two sets were released super fast, like only 2 months in between, and the next set was like 1 month ahead. It was a weird time, honestly. Maybe the designers knew that the set was going to be broken, or maybe it's just luck, but I'm glad it didn't last. At the start, it was all good. Like always, the first 2-3 weeks of every set on the GP meta is always like testing and learning the new decks, and then the tier 1 gets solidified. So you see where I'm going here. The tier 1 of BT12 had big decks. Belzemon, a deck that can randomly win depending of what you send to the trash in the first turns. Red hybrids that could also randomly won if your tamers were in your security. Hunter's deck that is by far one of the most fun but highly tamer dependent. And the jewel of the crown, WarGreymon. Little note here, I know there were more decks that were like meta relevant, like green, cross hearts, but the ones that more stick out were these decks. While you could navigate or learn to counter Belze, Hunters or hybrids, WarGreymon had such a powerful and aggressive playstyle that narrowed the decks you could use a lot, making the other decks even more broken and keeping many other outside of the tier 1. But why WarGreymon was so broken? Well, as we saw before in the game, a single card can change the power structure of a deck or a complete meta. For example, Dexmon or Dedexmon, Shoutmon Cross 4, WarGreymon, or you know, the classic Jet Sylphimon. In BT12, the Greymon line got huge support with a new evolution line and a new Taichi. So what was the problem? Many point out the WarGreymon card is super strong and cheap. Others point at the dual colors Greymon X Antibody and Metal Greymon that have huge strong effects and make the evolution super cheap. And others just say that the Greymon line got too many sources that get plus TP. In my opinion, they are half right, half wrong. While these cards look like maybe broken, I believe that what makes the deck so powerful and fast is the Metal Greymon X Antibody. Evolving by 3 normally or 0 from another Metal Greymon, it can become a super powerful level 5 or an almost invincible level 6 for you and your opponent's turn. So, Metal Greymon X in combo with the new WarGreymon give a base of 18k with a security attack extra, just by evolving. Add to your formula an extra security attack by an inherited skill from a Greymon or from a Taichi, and you start to see the problem. In one turn they can take half of your security and make an invincible level 6. That way in the next turn they can finish you off with an extra attack and maybe an Omnimon or something like this. So even if you Digibomb this card or Chaos degrade it, the memory and cards you have to use to remove it is too much in comparison. if we take the WarGreymon X from the equation, the deck is still very strong, but like WarGreymon X from BT11, it becomes very slow. This is why WarGreymon X was a misunderstood deck. It wasn't aggro, or it wasn't like the WarGreymon decks of BT9, it was a semi-control deck. The card didn't have an insane amount of DP or security attack extra, but it had defensive capabilities. Its win was determined by playing slow and steady to take one card of the security each turn, and eventually win the game. The new WarGreymon, freaking insane, dude. It goes so fast and doesn't even need delicate plan to play against Second. It just rebuilds again and again with some protection until victory. So fast, so damaging, is insanely strong. Clearly the WarGreymon cards of BT12 weren't made looking back at what came before. While I prefer the new cards because they are based on the new gameplay the developers are pushing, everything that came before may transform any new support into something completely broken. But I have to admit that the new WarGreymon card is really strong by itself. I can see it limited someday if nothing changed in the power structure of the game. Can one deck ruin the whole meta or a set? Yes, it can, and it already had. The WarGreymon deck is the reason why I say skip this set until X4. Because at the same time, when one card can send everything to shit, one card can save everything. And I strongly believe that there are many cards on X4 that will make the game better. Say WarGreymon, Ruin Mode, the new Omegamons, even Dark Seraphimon. The Blue Flare and Dark Knightmon made unexpected comebacks in its own ways and together. At the time I'm recording this, it hasn't been 2 weeks since X4 is out. The holidays happen, and I'm not even in Japan right now in the first place, so the information is extremely limited. I went home, man. I will be back in Japan, of course, but I still haven't seen the results of anything crazy coming out from my toaster with Wi-Fi. So for now, I didn't see anything crazy coming out of X4, but I didn't see the same WarGreymon decks dominating all over. Like, there is more competition right now. So I could go on and on about how BT12, X4 and RB1 sets are giving us new mechanics and way to play, but that may be something for another video. My mission here is done. Buy BT12 because it has great cards for the future, but don't play it. The WarGreymon's reign of terror is super frustrating. Or don't listen to me. Go and see it yourself. If you want to try anyway, but not play WarGreymon because you know you are sane and you are someone that actually wants to have fun, my advice is play Belzemon with a lot of Impmons to win by numbers, or play Hunters and beg that the WarGreymon player don't pull an Hades Force too often. Any thoughts or anything, write it down in the comments. Subscribe and like, shuffle and cut, roll and slice, evolve and fusion, whatever. See you in the next video. Bye bye.